Hi, my name is Frank Coyne, and I'm one of the founders and lead partners here at the Denver Green School. This video is designed to give you a snapshot of our incredible school. You'll get to hear from us as school leaders. You'll also get to hear from teachers and students as to what makes DGS special. Now, as a founder, I might be a little bit biased, but this school is a magical place with an extremely dedicated staff and an incredible student and family community. As you watch, we hope you'll agree. So who is the Denver Green School? We're a K-8 school serving an extremely diverse community in Southeast Denver. We're also an innovation school, which means we do things a little bit differently. We have some freedoms from the district with our innovation status to be able to put resources directly in front of students and directly helping students who need it most. Our innovation status props us up to do the cool things around curriculum, project-based learning, and all the excursions that you're going to hear about next.
Hi everybody, my name is Jose Pisa. I am one of the other leads here at the Denver Green School. One of the questions we oftentimes get asked about when parents are trying to learn more about our building is our academic program and how does it work. It's clearly generated a lot of success, and so people are oftentimes trying to find the right fit for the kids and looking for that success to be a fit for their family as well. So what's unique to our building is that rather than focusing on a specific facet or approach, is we try to strike a balance. So oftentimes you'll walk into a classroom and you'll see just a more traditional standards-based driven model that has got lots of high expectations in place and good other teaching moves. But alongside of that, you will also see, and in other times of the day, you'll also see project-based learning that helps to boost relevance, engagement. They're just kind of fun in the learning. We're able to pull that off with a longer day. And that longer day, Monday through Thursday, helps us to be able to say we're going to do both moves rather than just one move, and as a result we're able to kind of accomplish a little bit more than some other settings are able to pull off. Many of you will ask, how does kindergarten look? And I'm going to let my colleague Robert Sutro talk about the way kindergarten looks. I can talk a little bit about middle school. We are definitely a tiny program. A lot of attention is given to very individual needs. We'll talk a little bit more later on in the video about the way we support all our different diverse learners. But in the middle school, we definitely have a small school model. We give a lot of individual attention to those kids, and then our longer day again helps us to do cool stuff. One example of a fun project, I used to take 7th graders, and they still do this in the 7th grade, on a cooking kind of excursion, and the idea is the kids have read a book about food called Omnivore's Dilemma. They write essays and they do a lot of traditional work to kind of express their opinions and their critical judgment about food and the way it should work for them as a consumer. And then we would, each kid in a group would develop their own original snack concept. And we would not just dream about the snack concept, but kids would actually have to research the recipes, make the modifications so that it was unique and their own. They would cook the recipe. They had to come up with packaging, the labels, the pricing, everything related to actually producing the product. And along the way, we're just hitting so many different skills and finding so many different entry points for different learners to be able to express themselves. So as an example, I'll let Mr. Robert talk a little bit about kindergarten, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of our other examples of projects later on in the video.
Greetings! My name is Robert Sutro. I've been a kindergarten teacher for 16 years. The past 4 years, I've been a kindergarten teacher here at Denver Green School. Teaching at Denver Green School is a really empowering experience for educators because with the guidance that's provided to us, of course, by the Common Core State Standards, teachers are allowed, not only just allowed, but actually encouraged to create their own units of inquiry that are based on our students' interests, their needs, our students' cultures, our students' languages. And kindergarten, for example, anywhere that you go, is going to be like a beehive of activity But specifically here at Denver Green School, that activity is sort of centered around or focused on our units of inquiry, and those units of inquiry are based on our Education for Sustainability standards. That's actually what makes teaching not just kindergarten at Denver Green School, but any grade at Denver Green School really interesting, really unique. These Education for Sustainability standards are sort of the centerpiece of what it is that we do here at Denver Green School. And so, for example, some of those standards help our students to dive a little bit more deeply into ideas that are really important, not just for society, but for our planet as a whole. Ideas or concepts like empathy, or developing a respect for diverse perspectives, and the idea of stewardship, or taking care of the planet. In kindergarten at Denver Green School, you're going to hear and see children who are engaged in all kinds of collaborative projects. For example, understanding and appreciating our diverse cultures is one of our first units of inquiry. Another one is appreciating and understanding art. For example, we do a whole unit on printmaking, and children are involved in collaborating together, working together, understanding what collaboration is in order to create their prints that we then display as an art show. And children will also, you'll see them engaged in changemaker projects, guided by their understanding of what change is and the people for whom change should accrue or should benefit. Also at Denver Green School, you're going to hear our kindergarten students, your children, conversing about science. And, for example, inquiring about the structures and the needs of plants and other living things, and as well as inquiring into the nature of being a steward, the nature of stewardship. You'll also hear children engaged in conversations about and creating art projects around their understanding of water ecosystems, and really importantly, what it means to be a responsible citizen on our planet. Also, you're going to see children who are being appropriately engaged and challenged in both a writer's workshop format and a reader's workshop format, and in their understanding of mathematics. But perhaps most importantly, you'll see children and hear children engaged in the one thing that I think every child in kindergarten is going to say that they enjoy the most, and that's playing with their friends. Come join us.
There are many things that I love about working here at DGS, but one of them is being one of the first personnel that our families get to interact with, which is big. Why? Well, because I'm able to tell them all about the wonderful things that we're doing here at DGS. To me, it's very important that all families feel welcome and heard. It has given me the incredible opportunity to not only get to know them a little bit, but I also get to build relationships with them, which is key to helping every student. So this gives me the ability to collaborate with our amazing community.
So as we mentioned before, academics are super important to us at DGS. We want to make sure every learner is making the growth and taking the strides to be the best version of themselves they can. We do believe strongly in standards, and we have a lot of, like I said before, traditional moves. But really one of our other core values, and we think it's something that brings everything to life here, is the idea of engagement. We want, as much as possible, to create a sense of joy and fun in the building. And we have lots of ways that we do that. First and foremost is our excursion program. Within our school, a lot of the project-based learning actually takes place through different cool, amazing excursions. Sixth grade is maybe like the craziest grade in the building. They sometimes go as many as 15 to 20 days off campus. Sometimes at the end of the year, huge culminating camping trips. In many of the grades, and so it's important to understand that these excursions aren't necessarily always like the final product. Oftentimes they are the way along the way to kind of build excitement and encourage curiosity about the topic that students are learning about. And so that's really important to us, but we have other ways that we like to celebrate. So in the middle school, we always have Friday celebration. We get together in the gym when it's safe to do so, and we have amazing competitions, and we shout out students' successes, and we just come together as a community on a very regular basis to just have explicitly just for fun. We have lots of great celebrations throughout the school year that help kind of anchor the school year, like our Winter Gala and our Culture Festival and our Community Day. And there's lots of just little unique and interesting things happening within every single grade level. One of the other ways we have fun is, like I said before, our projects. I talked already about our food snack project, but a couple other quick examples. In the second grade, they have their Changemakers project, where they do a lot of like very traditional biographic work to kind of read and write and learn about interesting characters from history. And then as they draw their own conclusions about what makes those people so special, they actually engage in an annual Changemaker project of their own, where they, the second graders, are tasked with coming up with some kind of change they want to bring to our building. And they create formal presentations, and oftentimes they get to actually go do the change themselves. Well, that might be like swapping out an aerator because they've noticed the sinks are putting out too much water, or changing a light bulb because they see the energy is being wasted. In the sixth grade, they do a really amazing project every year where they read dystopian novels, which are super fun and engaging for kids that age. And then as they're learning about these dysfunctional societies, they actually get broken up into teams and they go around the city to learn about specific features in different neighborhoods. And then they come back and they report to each other. So they're not just reading about societies and asking cool questions about societies. They're going out into our world, our society, and going to neighborhoods like Washington Park or Swansea, Elyria, or Baker, and then they're coming back and reporting out about the food resources in those neighborhoods or the park amenities. And then they get to have like a cool experience at the end where they talk about what they think these communities should all have in place to be healthy, sustainable communities. So just two examples. Our school across every grade has comparable examples of ways that kids are being challenged to fundamentally be really critical thinkers and not just learn about something in a rote fashion. So that's really important to us, as are many of our other core values that you hear about in the video.
My name is Keith Truitt. I'm the Field Studies Coordinator for the Denver Green School. My job here is to make sure students are safe and successful on all of our incredible excursions. I help plan and execute them to make sure we're taking advantage of these incredible learning opportunities, tying our curriculum, things that students learn in the classroom, to some real life learning outside of the classroom. I'm so excited of everything we've done for the past 7 years here at the Denver Green School in our field studies, and I'm so excited that we're doing more new things every year. Some of the things we've already done this year, we've taken our 8th graders up to Ballarat for an overnight, which was absolutely incredible. You'll see some of the footage here. Something else that we're looking forward to this week, we're taking our 5th graders to Matthews Winters Park and our 3rd graders to Cherry Creek to visit DGS Beach, something we do every year. All of these excursions are only possible with the help of our wonderful families.
It feels good to be at a high-achieving school because I know that the teachers that I'm being taught by are the best.
One of the benefits of having a small school is a strong culture. For example, our middle school is about 180 students. We're in a typical middle school. It could be anywhere from 500 to 600 on up with students. For that, it helps our school. All of our teachers know all of our kids' names. Like any other school, when we have to deal with the idea of anti-bullying, we get to really see it through with some fidelity. We approach everything with a SEL and trauma-informed lens, and ultimately school gets to be fun. We believe that school should be a joyous place, and with our small culture, we really get to hammer that home at DGS.
When I think about all the things I love about the Denver Green School, a few things come to mind. The first is shared leadership. We're a school that coaches and supports our teachers, and at the same time we get to do what we love the most, which is teach. Another thing I love about our school is the ability to write our own curriculum. Our leadership trusts us as professionals to develop our own units and lessons based on our passions and interests, and that allows us to push and engage students in the best way that we see possible. Excursions. We get to leave the building quite frequently, so we are a school that values learning that happens outside of the building. So whether it's zip lining in the mountains or studying math systems at Denver International Airport, we know that learning happens everywhere, not just in school. But by far my favorite thing about teaching at the Denver Green School is the kids. We have a wonderful group of students here, a diverse group of students. I attended Denver Public Schools myself, and so this feels like home to me, and I would have it no other way. So for me, the Denver Green School is the best place to be.
Equity is one of the core values we have at the Denver Green School. As a small school by nature, and a very diverse one at that, with students who represent over 30 countries and speak over 30 different languages, making sure that each student receives an equitable education is important to us. Some of the ways that we do that is in our core blocks. We make sure that students are getting differentiated work in all of their core blocks. We also have a block in the school day called ILT for all students. ILT stands for Individualized Learning Time. During that time, students are getting what they need specifically to improve their education, whether that be part-time work from our GT teacher who's here part-time, reading intervention, math intervention, or challenge work. We also have one of the best MLE programs, multilingual education programs, in the district. So those are some of the ways that we make sure that every kid at Denver Green School has equitable access to education.
So throughout the video, we talk about lots of different moves, right? We've talked about our amazing diversity and all the different programs we have to help that out. And we talk about our excursions and the way we build engagement. And we talk about our farms, and there's just a lot that happens here. And so one of the ways we're able to pull that off is as an innovation school, we're able to manage our budget with a little slight bit of extra freedom. And what that does for us is functionally lets us kind of put our money where our mouth is. And for us, that comes down mostly to staff members. So when we have an amazing multilingual education program, it's because we're able to throw another staff member at it. Or we have an amazing mild moderate program, we're able to throw another staff member at it. We do things to help our staff be sustainable, like we have an internal sub that, for professional development reasons, helps all of our teachers in the building every year have some days to get better as a teacher. We have the budget to afford cool trips as a result, so we can actually go on our cool excursions to different places without having to ask families to pay for anything. So those financial freedoms and the things that we're able to do with it are a part of the reason that we're able to be such a cool place, so that we're not just talking about a bunch of things that we can't do, we can actually go pay for them and do them. And living in a community and in a school where not everyone can afford everything, we feel like it's ultimately a very equitable choice on our part to make sure that the school pays for these things and makes them happen for everybody, so that we can be as successful as we need to be.
All of these ideas have been at the heart of who we are as a school for the last decade. We've been able to leverage our innovation and all these unique components very intentionally for us to be a high-achieving, high-growth school, which means we're a blue school on the School Performance Framework, which is the highest rating you can get.
It feels great to be here because you succeed many things here, because there's awesome people, the community is very welcoming, and it just makes you feel great because you're in a good learning environment. And we also have a blue report card, which makes the school very great.
It's this attitude and mindset that has helped us innovate as a school for the last decade and will help us push the envelope for years to come. We know you have a lot of great choices here in Denver, but we look forward to the opportunity to work with you and serve your kids.